And we're back.
Hey, hey, hey. Finally.
I missed you. It's been a while.
Why does it feel like it's been like so long, even though it really hasn't been?
I think it's because we were both kind of going through it during that time. Like it wasn't like good times we'd be having. Which I mean, maybe you had fun with your mom, but it wasn't like all great. It wasn't a break for a vacation or anything. For me, anyway.
Yeah. That makes sense because like the hard days seem longer usually. And so since we were both kind of going through it, seems longer than it was. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Miss You, That's All podcast. I am your co-host, Kayla.
And I'm your co-host, Ashley. So I had a thought like 5 minutes ago before we started, and it's so stupid, but you're either gonna think I'm stupid or agree, or both. Like both things can be true at the same time. But I was like, oh my gosh, if you got amnesia, you could like experience all your favorite things over again. Like you could read books that you've already read and experience them for the first time, and watch movies again. Like that would be so freaking cool.
I think you found the only upside to amnesia, Ashley.
Oh, snap. Sorry, guys.
That is a valid point, but like, I think you're overlooking the big thing.
There's two sides to every coin, okay? Two sides to every coin. Oh, also, speaking of two sides to every coin, I was thinking the other day after, I don't want to say her name in case she doesn't want her name said, because I realize that some people might not. But the other day, after our friend from back home reached out and she was like, oh my god, I didn't know you guys had a podcast. I realized that people listening to us might think we genuinely hate where we came from and everyone in it. Because like we had that episode that we were like, we want to leave, we want out, get us out, like the whole time. And it's really, there's two sides to every coin, because we had so much fun growing up. Like we really did. There's people there who made it not fun, but overall I wouldn't want to have a childhood anywhere else. Like we had a great time where we grew up.
Yeah, it was a good time. I was talking about that the other day at work, about like dumb things people do as kids or whatever. And I was like, I think the worst thing I did was like sneak out. And then I was like, but our sneaking out was literally to get in a car with other people and we went and drove around. We didn't do anything.
Yes.
Like, we didn't sneak out and like go to the club. Like, those aren't a thing where we're from. Like,
what club?
We snuck out to go drive around on dirt roads. That's literally what we did.
Yes. So, yeah, and like, I say all the time that like, I did stupid things safely. You and we never got messed up with drugs. Like, we didn't do really dangerous things. But I had never had a problem drinking, because the people we were around, like I knew that I could fall into whoever was there and I wouldn't be like taken advantage of. Like we were we were always around safe people. Even if it was like all your brother's buddies. Like we were all around genuinely good people. And we were, I mean, I think I can speak for the both of us. Like we were never taken advantage of. No sketchy situations like that ever happened. Like we were really lucky to grow up where we grew up.
Yeah.
In that
definitely
aspect. Like you didn't wander into the wrong hands easily.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it would be fun if we start doing like a weekly poll where we just like ask a question that's just like random. And this happened upon me because I have a question and I want your opinion, but I also feel like I want other people's opinions. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
And it's really just a want your opinion because I'm curious because I know my own opinion and like I don't think anyone's gonna be able to change it. Well, it's not that serious. Like it sounds deeper than it is. So I was getting ready a while ago and I was putting on mascara and sorry, I thought I had hair on my mouth. I was putting on mascara and I realized that I am well, I already knew, but it was like one of those reminder things. I am a bottom lash mascara girly. And I look at girls that have mascara on their bottom lashes and I'm like, oh, she looks pretty. And I look at girls who refuse to put mascara on their bottom lashes and I'm like, that also looks very pretty. And so I guess my point is like, I wish I could be the one who didn't put it on the bottom because I can see like some people are like, it looks spidery, like if your lashes are really long. And I'm gonna toot my own horn. I feel like I fall into that category. But that has a chokehold on me. Like I cannot not put mascara on my bottom lashes. I think my eyes look naked if I don't. So the question is, do you put mascara on your bottom lashes?
Okay, first, you look very pretty, by the way.
Thanks.
Second, I think it depends on like your natural eyelashes, like what your eyelashes, because some people have like super long ones but they don't curl. Sometimes they're curl but they're really short. Like I think it's one of those things, like how it looks.
Yeah.
And for the record, it's all about what you like and what you want. Like it's your face and your eyelashes. But for me, this is really funny because I've always felt kind of weird for doing this. Like I didn't know if this was normal or how other girls did it. But like I don't like putting a lot of mascara on the bottom because I feel like that's when it clumps and that's when it gets all spider webby. So like I will like dip my little wand and I'll do my top lashes and then do my bottom lashes with like
the remnants,
the not excess that's on there. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I do my other one and then I dip it again and do my other top one. So me being as complicated as ever, I am neither. I am a little bit of mascara bottom. I'm not an all or nothing. I need a little bit there to make them more evident.
That makes sense. Well, you guys comment below. Let us know what you are. I'm just curious because I feel like the world's probably 50-50. And on you complimenting me, I'm sure you were talking about, my face and that I don't look like I crawled out of a dungeon. But also, I would like to point out that someone told me the other day that black is really my color. And now I am like living for that. So now I'm like, I should just wear black all the time.
I feel like I wear black all the time anyway. I'm texting my husband. I mean, like, dog, I can hear you. Kayla can hear you. Russia can hear you. He's supposed to be cleaning his grill. I don't even know what he's doing.
He's building you a better life, okay? Because he sounds like Bob the Builder.
Another question. I don't think I've ever asked you before. Or
I'm
surely
ready.
you know. What Harry Potter house are you in?
I am Hufflepuff, according to the online test.
Yes. According to legit sources.
Yes.
Hey, J.K. Rowling put that together herself. Maybe
Really?
I dreamed that or made it up, but I don't know. But it's legit.
There was a
okay?
hair.
Like the one on Pottermore.
There was a hair on my lip. It's been driving me nuts. Anyway.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I took one where it was like, ask me a bunch of questions, like your average little online quizzes. But at the end, it was like the hat and it like talked to me and stuff. And then it like told me what I was in. And I was like,
Was
oh,
it on Pottermore?
I have no idea. This was like
Well,
a year or so ago, whenever me and Johnny had like a Harry Potter marathon and watched them all, and then we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know what I am. So then I took the little quiz.
Gotcha.
What
That
are
makes
you?
sense. I could see that being true. A Ravenclaw.
Okay.
I feel like I don't meet many of those. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I feel like that's you saying that is accurate because like I don't feel like anyone else that I've talked to about this is a Ravenclaw. Anywho, okay. So
Moving on.
what we're actually here to discuss. Icks. I really hate how thick that sounded.
I'm supposed to say it
Why
with your
does
whole
that
mouth.
sound so yeah. My
Icky?
ick is the way people say ick. It's like, this is gonna get really gross, but there's like a thickness when people say it, which honestly, it's comical, and I feel like that's the only appropriate way to say it. But at the same time, a little voice in my brain is like, they have phlegm in the back of their throat, and that's why it sounds like that. That's what the thickness is.
Is ick, what is that word for, like, is it onomatopoeia, the words that make like pop or boom, like it makes the word makes the sound of what it is?
Maybe. I think that's what it's called.
I think it is too.
I can tell you. Hold on.
Google will know. Guys, I apologize for the noise of my husband. I don't know what he's doing out there. He said he was going outside with the kids to clean the grill, but apparently he decided to be Bob the Builder, and it is super loud and super obnoxious, but maybe it'll end one day. Just excuse it. We live real lives over here.
Onomatopoeia is the word you were looking for. And I would assume that ick is part of that because, like, that is what it is. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
However, Google did not recognize me asking about ick, I-C-K. It thought I meant tick, and then it prompted me for tick-tock, like the sound that a clock makes, not the app.
Tick-tock on the clock.
There you go. You heard it here first. Okay. You picked the topic, so you go first. And let's try not to get too aggressive.
Okay, then I'm going to start at the bottom because the top one is the one I told you last night that really gets me going, which is so stupid. Okay. My first one is when girls smile. Or not really girls. I just see girls doing this more. But when girls smile with like their tongue and their teeth like kind of poking, like, stop. That's unnecessary. What are you doing? Are you trying to prove you have a tongue? We know. It'd be problematic if you didn't. That's not cute. Stop. Ick.
This is gonna be so
no one likes
fun.
it.
This is gonna be so fun because I could care less about that. And like we're really about to see people's like Okay.
No, what makes it funny is because I feel like when you say stuff like this, people are like, that's really what keeps her up at night. Jesus Christ, this girl has problems. Okay, what's yours?
I'm gonna start with a childish one. And if you could probably relate as a grown-up, period, but if you have siblings, you can definitely relate. leftovers being eaten, like, that did not, like, my leftovers being eaten by someone else. You want to talk about rage? Lose my mind on someone. Because
See, I don't
nothing
really have that
hits,
problem.
like,
Go ahead.
nothing hits better than when you were thinking about, like, the chicken that you had last night and you had a little bit left, or
Mhm.
everyone in the history of forever can relate to the hibachi leftovers. Those things are so freaking
Oh, dear
life-changing.
Jesus.
And if I'm just,
Yes.
like, so
Yes.
ready for it, and then I find out someone ate it, ruin my whole day. Instantly. Instantly.
I can't
Mad.
I can't relate to that a whole lot because, well, I'm an only child, and the sibling type people I had in my family were way older. Um, that like I lived with, you know. But and then me and Brandon don't eat a lot of the same things, and we're not huge leftover people. Like we've gotten really good at like cooking for enough, and it's like for one meal. Um,
Yeah.
and we like he doesn't eat a lot of the same things that I do. That like hibachi, I wouldn't have to worry about that. He wouldn't take my
Must be nice.
like if I bring
So
leftovers home from a
Johnny,
restaurant, he's not gonna eat them.
that's nice. Johnny has
Mm-hmm.
a 3-day rule. Like, if it's been in the fridge for 3 days, he can eat it at that point. However, and this is his own rule, he came up with this. This man breaks that rule more than anything else, okay? Because I'll be like, where is this? And he's like, it was in there forever. I'm like, it's literally been 2 days. 2 days. And he thinks that's forever. And I'm like, okay. Okay. I didn't want it. It's fine.
Good lord. Um. So here's another one for me. Zippers on like anything but jeans. Like zippers when they're like unneeded, like a shirt that has a zipper up the front, or like a skirt that has like a zipper up the front of the skirt. I hate that so much. It's so not needed. It's so because it's always like a cheap, like really bright silver metal zipper. And it's so ugly to me, and I hate it so much. If you like that, power to you. I didn't buy it, I don't care. But I hate whenever I see something like a shirt I really like, and like pick it up and I turn it around and it has a zipper all the way up the back. That's not even needed. It's a loose fitting shirt. It doesn't need a zipper. I can feel
I'm
my blood
laughing.
starting to pump for my other ones that really get me going.
I'm laughing because when mom came to visit, she most definitely wore a shirt on Friday that had a zipper right.
Course, of course, Darla did. Of course, Darla did.
And that was the
Oh
first thing in my
goodness.
head. Okay.
Sorry, D Dog.
Asking my opinion and then doing what you want. Like, my dad is the worst about being like, where do you guys want to eat? I don't care. And then I suggest something and he's like, okay. And like, he'll sit and ponder with it for a minute. And then he's like, I really want to eat Captain D's. And I'm like, Captain D's doesn't sound very good. I want to eat at Taco Bell. And he's like, no, I think I really want Captain D's. And then we end up going to Captain D's. And I'm like, so why did you say you don't care where we eat?
When you
Because
obviously
you
do
do.
care.
Like, and so I got to a point where I don't answer him. I'm like, no, just tell me where you want to eat because that's where we're going to eat. Like, don't ask me and make me really think about this and really get like excited thinking about places to eat and pick somewhere for you to be like, no, I want to eat here, sir.
So I get frustrated because, like, me and Brandon do the whole thing, like, you pick, no, you pick, and he gets mad at me because I don't like to pick. But I don't mind picking. You and I have known each other for a very long time. I will tell you where we want to eat. But the
Yeah.
difference is, Brandon eats two things. Like, I can't say Olive Garden because he doesn't like Italian food. And then he's going to get upset. Or he's going to agree, and then we're going to sit down, and he's going to be like, I didn't want to eat here. Okay. Well, be a grown man that you are and tell me where you want to go, because I can I can find something to eat wherever we are that I will genuinely
Yes.
enjoy. I won't have to pick between a burger and chicken strips because my husband is 5 and that's what he eats. Like, I can
Yeah.
genuinely find something that I actually like wherever we are. He can't. So I'm like, you pick, because you have a limited menu that I don't have. So you pick. And he's like, well, I don't want to
Yes.
pick. Okay, well, set yourself up for a world of hurt if you don't like where I want to go, because you're not going to say it.
Yeah. That would be annoying.
It is. It is.
On the note of food still, while we're talking about it, smacking. Like, or talking with your mouth full. Like, that makes me so unwell. Like, I get ragey to the point where I can't even stay sitting next to the person eating anymore. Like, that noise, and it happens. Okay, so this is not necessarily smacking, but working in healthcare, you're around elderly people because they're more often sick than other people. And something that older people have a tendency to do is they'll just be sitting there, not eating, not drinking. Yes! Oh, stop. My skin is crawling. Over and over and over again. And that noise makes my skin crawl. Oh my gosh, that is so awful. It is so awful. Oh. Okay, we gotta talk about something else.
Okay. So one that is like so annoying, like not so annoying, but like I genuinely just don't understand is like when people make like a college sports team like their whole personality when they didn't attend that college. Like their whole house will be decked out in like plates and cups and flags and like, you know, just random decor for of like LSU stuff because that's where we're from. And like they have a LSU shirt for like every game that's different, and like they have like an LSU license plate on the front and back of their car. Like, it's just a bunch of kids playing a game. Like, why are you so wound up over somewhere you didn't even go? Like, it's a school. Do you understand that? I guess it's like the commercializing of it that I find annoying, because I'm like, these kids are just trying to go to school and play a game. That's it.
Yeah.
They're kids. Like, why are you getting so worked up? You need to calm down a bit. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that serious. Because you could,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. There are like Brandon's an Alabama fan. I don't even know if he's been to Alabama. Like, we have no ties. He doesn't know anybody from Alabama. Oh, maybe actually, I think he does. He has a friend, and they call him Bama, but that's not his name. And I'm trying to remember if it's because he's from Alabama. Anyway, like, you can like their team, whatever, but like, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be all of who you are. You can chill out a little bit. It's not that serious. Like, you can chill.
Yes. My thing with that is like people who get ragey about like my team is better or this or that. And it's like, you do know you're not actually playing, right? Sometimes it's people who aren't athletic at all arguing. And I'm like, you are not capable of playing on the bad team or the good team. Like, Who are you
I get so
arguing
caught
with
up
right
on just being
now?
like, this, like, Brandon will legitimately get in like a bad mood if they lose a game. And I'm like, you realize this
No.
affects us in no way.
That's not that
We're not on the
serious.
team. Neither is anyone we know. This doesn't affect our life at all. And at the end of the day, it's a game. It's a game. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Um So I had a very awful thought, and I literally almost spit this tea everywhere while ago when you were talking, because you can see in my cup. And I was drinking, and I guess it's my job. I don't know what processed in my brain this way, but I literally tipped it up, took a drink, had my mouth full, and was like, it's yellow. And I was like, someone's gonna be like, is that girl drinking pee? And I literally almost like spit across while you were talking. And I was like, you better get it together, because no one else is ever gonna think that. Like, that was you and you alone. So
I just,
there's the balloons.
rah. So I had an epiphany the other day. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I had an epiphany, and I want to know if you agree. So
Okay.
I wondered if why like our generation is really big on like therapy, because we're also the generation that came from like a lot of like absentee parents or parents who were there but like not super involved, and so like we didn't really have people who listened to us and like guide us through life the way that parents are supposed to. And so like we're reaching for that now, like for the validation and like things we do every day because we don't know if we're doing it right. And a therapist is like, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You get distracted because you have ADHD, but other than that, you're fine.
Mm, I don't.
And I know there's other reasons you can need therapy. I'm not saying that's the only reason why. I understand people have a myriad of issues that need to be worked through. Whatever. But I just wonder if that's why some people just need help. Like just going through life.
Potentially, because I feel like with the 2008 like recession and stuff, like it kind of hit our parents hard. And so like they had to like come back from that and work extra and like really, I don't know, really, work for things like because stuff
Mm-hmm.
became like a lot harder than it had been previously. So maybe that's some of it, so it was like they weren't as around, I don't know. My instant thought process for me and things I dealt with in therapy was my parents' divorce and how like the child version of me processed that, and it's like stuck in the back of my brain, and sometimes I don't realize that it's like 7-year-old me having an issue that's projecting out of 27-year-old me instead of like it being a problem in the here and now at 27 years old.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But so I don't know, but it would make sense.
Just a
Also, I
thought.
think our parents might, like, I know it wasn't really true with my situation, like I could have probably talked to my parents about anything, um but I know like our parents were from a much harsher generation of like, we don't cry, we don't talk about feelings, suck it up and get over it. So like if that's how our parents were raised, then it was harder for them to be like, let's all sit and kumbaya about things, Like it
Yeah.
takes a
Yeah.
learning process to recognize like, hey, they need to be able to talk about things. If you talk about things, then it processes through and you don't harbor it for 20 years. Like, you can move past it.
Yeah.
Or just the simple fact that, sometimes you need validation in things to feel better about it.
Yeah. I think I've been looking for somebody to talk to because I need to sort through a lot of stuff. But a lot of mine that I have problems with is validation and insecurities that I'm doing something wrong, because that's what I didn't have growing up.
Yeah.
But I watched this video the other day of this guy. I put it on my story on Instagram. I don't know if you watched it, but he was like talking to his dad and he was crying and he was like, "You told me," yes. And he was like, "I do all these things because you didn't." And I was like, I was watching it and it wasn't funny, but it was like I was watching it and like I felt so bad for this guy, and it was like I could just feel like grief for this person. And I was like, man, this video is really hitting me hard. And then I was like, oh, because he's talking about my childhood. That's why this is hitting me hard, because I'm this person as well. But I don't think of it like that for some reason. I'm like, I don't consider myself one of those people that's like blocked out everything. But
yeah,
I guess maybe in a way I've compartmentalized it. But it was just like it's so hard watching people deal with stuff like that and still deal with it. And I do that a lot. Like I will do the opposite of what I had at every turn that I can, because I know what it feels like to go through that kind of childhood, and I don't want to do that. So I do this. But
yeah.
anyway, that is not what we were talking about at all.
It got deep real quick.
Yeah, it's okay though. Sometimes we'll do that. Was
It's
it your
needed.
turn or my turn?
I think it's mine. This is a recent one, and I think it's because people talk about icks more openly. What is wrong with
I
you?
thought you were about to say this is a racist one, and I was like, what? What? What?
No. Oh my gosh. No. This is a more recent problem. So, people, and I think it's because people talk about icks and are just like more aggressive about their feelings towards things. But when people make aggressive, not just make the noise in general, but make aggressive fake vomiting noises, that like really grosses me out. Like I can get on board with like a little, like if you're talking about being disgusted and you're like okay, I'm here with you, fine. But people who like really make noise, like aggressively so, to the point where you almost think they might be throwing up, I'm like, you're doing too much. You went too far.
It's obnoxious.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're making people uncomfortable. Because, there's those people that, like, can't smell it, hear it, see it, like, or they react. And so I think that's what it is it, like, triggers, because I'm not that person. Like, I can stand next to someone while they throw up and be perfectly fine. But when I hear people fake noises and it's so aggressive, I'm like, I'm uncomfy. Like, please go away.
I'm uncomfy.
Ugh. Okay, your turn.
So this is one that will make me want to get a divorce. Like I will become a different human being. Like it makes me want to rage. And you either get it or you don't. Like it either bugs you or it does not. But if I'm trying to do something, if I'm trying to make something work, or if I'm trying to press a button that's not buttoning and it's not working, and somebody comes behind me and tries to, if somebody comes behind me and like tries to do it, like it really gets me with buttons, because like if something's not working in the car and I'm like pressing a button and I'm like, oh, it's not working, and Brandon reaches over and he presses the button, I will want to snap his fingers off his hand. Like, you can't press a button differently than I can. You can't. You're not magic. You cannot do it. I understand sometimes there are ways to fix things, that I might not be aware of. I am not that full of myself. But if it's something like flipping a switch and a light's not coming on, you can't do that differently than I can. You can't flip any other way than I can. I can flip a switch. I have that. I'm not stupid. I have normal thinking, critical thinking, whatever. But I will lose my mind. I will not speak to him for a bit. Like, it makes me want to Hulk out because you can't do that differently than me. I think I find it like insulting in a way. Like, I can do that. I'm capable. You don't have to try as well. I did it. Trust that I can flip a switch. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.
So I can see that, like, like if you do something and then someone comes behind you and does the same thing and they're like, "Oh, you're right," and you're like, "That's what I just said." Like, hello. But sometimes I think that I was gonna say men, but let's just say some people, because it might be some women too. I'm not sure. Sometimes I think that the critical thinking for some people is like needing to go through all of the steps. So, like, flip the switch, it doesn't work. Flip it back off, still doesn't work. Okay, how do I deduce this problem? Like, I think some people have to do that, but then there are some people, I think, like you said, insulting, where they're like, oh, let me push it. And you're like, no, the button's not going to work just because you pushed it. Like, that's not, there's a problem that's bigger than me pushing it and you pushing it.
Yes.
So.
And to stem from that, a little sidebar from that one is people who think pressing a button harder will make it work better. That is not how electrical systems work. That's not how it works. Or like when guys are playing a video game. I don't know if Johnny does this. Like they're doing something and they go, like, it's not gonna get you anywhere, buddy. It's not real. It's a button. You can chill out. Like Brandon will do that, and I'm like, calm yourself. It'll get you nowhere except broken buttons and like log whatever it's called, joysticks. Just messes up your stuff. You gotta calm down. It's not that serious.
So I think that's funny because I don't know other people's thought process, but mine is just frustration to an extent, because mine is frustration of it not working. Like, if I'm at work and I click something on the computer and it doesn't work, and then I click it again and it still doesn't work, and I'm just like, like, I get ragey, and I'm like, freaking work! But
I mean, I understand doing it out of rage, but like, this isn't working. Why isn't it working? Like, or like a elevator. Like, if you press it once, it sends the signal, buddy. Like, you don't got to do it over and over.
Yeah, doesn't make it happen faster.
Okay, you gotta go. I gotta calm down.
People acting like their situation is worse. So, there's like a prominent thing in my head that's coming to mind, but there was a situation with a person, and I don't even know, like, it was not that deep. Like, we were all just hanging out, and someone said something, and he was like, oh yeah, I've been there. I was like, yeah, like, blah blah whatever. And he was like, no, like, you don't even know, like, what I've been through. Sir, you don't know what I've been through. Like, did you really just say that to me? Yeah, I was like, is this real life? Are we in the same room? I was like, he don't know me like that, so you don't know what I've been through. Like, when people just assume that their life is the worst, or they want to be the one whose life is the worst, I'm like, what kind of trauma response are you having right now that you need to be the most hurt and affected one? Like, no,
I worry
do not do that.
Sometimes I get worried that sometimes people think that I'm trying to one up them whenever I'm just trying to like relate, if that makes sense. like if somebody says something like, "Oh, I broke my nail," I'm like, "Oh, I broke my nail too. That's the worst thing in the world. I feel your pain." Like that kind of thing. Like I have no desire to be worse or be better. Like I just try to relate, and I guess I do that out loud, and the way I do it is by like showing that I have been in a similar situation, but I don't care to be any worse or better, or you know, I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like I try to relate, and I tell you what I have been through in that manner, but then I'm like, crap, I hope they don't think that I'm trying to do that, because I don't care that much. I don't care to outdo.
I think as long as you do it, one, with respect, and two, with like an empathy, like where they know you're just trying to relate. Where if
Mm-hmm.
like I was like, oh, I broke my nail, and you're like, so what? I broke my nail too. Like if you have an attitude about it, like
Yeah.
it's just not received the same. Where if you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I did too, that's the worst. Like I feel like that's a different situation. Like you
Yes.
are putting things out there differently, and you put it out there in a positive manner, so it should be better received.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So this is one that might get some hate, or it might not, because people might not realize they do it. But when people make their partner's personality their own, that it embarrasses me so bad. Like the secondhand embarrassment hits heavy. And like if you start dating a guy from Texas and then you come and visit me and you are wearing Wranglers and boots and a cowboy hat, what are you doing? You are not who you were. You did not have a change of heart.
I
You did not become Miss Cowgirl overnight. Like I understand, like I was talking about this with Haley again the other day whenever she and I were talking about this episode. Like I feel like some people feel like I got big into hockey because Brandon got big into hockey. And this is gonna sound so stupid when I say it out loud. I got into hockey because I read a book. It was a hockey romance, and I was like, this is legit. This is hot. And I knew Brandon liked hockey. So we started watching it together, and I'm so embarrassed of myself, of my past self. I would take stuff that I had heard from the books and use the terminology like I knew what I was talking about. And like I did know I did know what it meant because I had like learned about it in the book. But it wasn't like a hockey for dummies book, and I would use that to, I don't know. We started watching it whenever we were like during lockdown, during COVID, whenever there was nothing else to do. And we like started bonding over that, and then we became like bigger fans than he was. My oldest son wanted to play hockey, and so like it just kind of grew. And but it wasn't like Brandon liked hockey, so I started liking hockey. Like that's not how it was. Like that is what bugs the crap out of me.
The only thing embarrassing about that is the fact that you use terminology because you wanted to sound impressive, like y'all weren't already married and with a baby. Like y'all had been married for a minute at that point. Like
Yeah, we would have been married for almost 6 years.
6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I did not know any of that because I definitely had a moment at some point where like you just talked about hockey more, and like I knew your oldest son was wanting to play and taking lessons and all that, and like y'all were like deep into it, and I was like, where did this come from? Like we've been friends for a very long time, and I've never heard this girl talk about hockey, and now she's like got shirts and they go to games and they watch the games, and she's participating in a fantasy league. I'm like, where did this come from?
So the
But
fantasy league came because Brandon likes doing fantasy leagues, and he was like, "Let's do a fantasy league together." And so we were in one with like just random people from everywhere, and then we started one of our own because I thought that would be more fun. The fantasy league is really fun.
okay. Well,
Um,
I agree with that, but I also, it's not just relationships. Girls have a tendency to do that with the people that they're hanging out with, or like when they get a new friend and they like
mhm.
pick up all their habits or their interests or the way they dress or the way they talk or the things they do. And like, I feel like it's almost worse sometimes with like your friends because I feel like girls really hone in and become like obsessive about stuff sometimes. And then
Yeah.
other friends, like me and you, for instance, like we've been friends a long time. So if I met a new girl and was like, we're going to get our hair done and we always drink chai lattes and all that, you'd be like, who are you? Who are you? We've known each other a very long time. Who is this version and why is she here? Like, and I'd be like, oh, because I hang out with Kelsey now. And you'd be like, Kayla, no. Just no. Like, no. So, okay. This one gets me real heated, so I'm just gonna take a minute. People driving in the fast lane when there's no one in the slow lane. Like they're just over there to be over there.
Because I like the view from there.
Yes. Yes. And then there's people, like I've been in the car with people who are in the fast lane. And aside from just being like, what are you doing? When they're going like, let's say the speed limit's 70 and the driver is doing 80 and a car speeds up behind them and they're like, I'm already doing 80. Okay, they want to go faster. This is the fast lane. Get out of the way. Like, if they want to speed and potentially get a ticket or arrested, that is their business. Get out of their way. Just because the speed limit's 70 and you're doing 80, that does not mean you are the fastest and you get to stay over here. Get out of the way. That is a passing lane. Get out of the way.
It's that thing where like your car is like the most important car. Like
Yes.
everyone watches you, everyone's aware of you when they're not. Like you're not aware of everyone else either.
Yes. And this, like, oh, it just drives me nuts. But this was never like so bad as to when I went to visit my dad when he was stationed in Germany, because they obey this law over there. Like, legitimately, you will get run over, flattened like a pancake if you are in the fast lane and you're not actively passing someone or willing to get out of the way. People will mow you down. And so when you learn, you get over, pass, get back, get over, pass, get back. Like, you might be turning your blinkers on and off the whole time, but you do not drive in that lane. That lane is to pass someone and get the hell back out of the way. And so when I came home after being there for 3 weeks and having driven there while I was there, I was never so ragey to be in America. Like, that was something that like made me snap. I was like, I can no longer drive in America because now I once thought it was inconvenient and people are incompetent. Now I just think that they're flat out stupid. I was
That's
just
fair.
mad. Like, it was awful. I was so mad about it.
These are icks that it's like a word ick. I don't like being called sweetie or cute. I hate it so much. Ugh, like if I'm reading a book and they say like they refer to like their significant other as sweetie, I have to put it down. I can't continue. It's so weird to me. Like if they're not a small child, stop. I don't appreciate it. Don't like it. I don't know why. It just gives me the
That
ick.
one doesn't bother me.
This is kind of great
In
though. I kind of like that some of these you're like, yeah, I don't care, and I'm like, go ahead.
Actually, when you said that, the first thing that popped into my head is I have a coworker whose husband always called her sweetie.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Does she listen? I hope she doesn't listen. If she does, I apologize. I'm sorry.
I don't think so. She might, but I don't think so. So this one is kind of like together, I guess. It's kind of two of them, but they kind of go together. People giving unwarranted opinions and people making, like, telling you something that you can't change within the next 30 seconds. So
Yes, we talked about that.
unwarranted opinions, like me being all dressed up for whatever and you being like, which you would never do this, but you being like, that dress really isn't doing it for you. Like, I was perfectly happy and comfortable in my dress. I didn't need you to tell me that. Like, if I ask, how do I look? Then I've opened that gateway. But you just putting that out there is just rude and uncalled for. Or like people talking about people's weight all the time. Like, unless I have explicitly been like, wow, I really want to lose weight, and like you've noticed that I've lost weight and is in that compliment sense, nothing else should ever be brought up about that. Like, or if someone's trying to intentionally gain weight and you feel like they have, and you're like, wow, you look really good. Like, I feel like, you're gaining weight. I actually scratch that. I don't know that there's a polite way to tell someone that they've gained weight, even if they wanted to do that intentionally. But there are just so many people that are just like, oh, you've really put on the marriage weight or the happy weight in your relationship. Excuse me? Why would you say that to someone? That's not okay. That is not okay.
I don't understand why people think it's okay to just burst someone's bubble like that. Like, where do you get off? Why does it, like, are you that genuinely unhappy in your life that you have to bring others down so much? Because it's not going to change anything, but I mean, most of the time, again, unless you ask, unless you walk out of your closet and say, does this look good? Do I look good? Is this unflattering? There's no reason for me to say otherwise. Unless the only reason I would is if it genuinely just looked bad and I was like, Caleb, I don't think you're gonna like the looks you get when you walk out the door in that. But I've never done that before, so I don't find a reason to, like, I don't have a reason to do that,
Yeah.
But I don't understand people who genuinely just make rude comments or snide comments for no reason other than to just bring someone down. It's so unnecessary, so uncalled for, and you legitimately just have to be miserable in your life to think that that is something you can just do.
Yes. I just feel like that's a controversial sort of thing because there's a lot of girls that are like, oh, you need to be girls. Like, don't let your friend, have something in her teeth or, whatever, which is fine. But if I get dressed and am happy about what I'm wearing, and it's not just like, I mean, even if it's a clown suit, like if that's what I put on and I can see and I know and I did it on purpose, like, mind your business. Maybe that's what I wanted to wear today. And people are just so, I feel like entitled is the only word, that their opinion, they think so highly of themselves and their opinion that they need to share it with the world. Newsflash, you don't. You're not that important. You're not that special. What you have to say, it's not that significant to other people. Close your mouth if it's going to be rude. Because all you're going to do is hurt someone's feelings. And no one needs that. Just close your lips.
Yeah. And there's those people that's like, well, I was just being honest. I was just telling the truth. I was just being honest. Okay.
No one asked for your honesty.
You don't gotta. You can still spare. You don't, like, unless you're asked, you don't have to hurt someone else's feelings because of the truth if it isn't asked for. Yes. I'm not asking you for your truths.
Yeah.
No one wanted the truth. And in
Yes.
this conversation, nobody asked, nobody wanted it. I was cool. I was happy in my clown suit. I didn't need you to tell me that it made my butt look too big. Like, skedaddle. I
Yes.
don't need it.
On this note,
What?
something that just like struck me, it was something I thought of earlier and didn't have on my list. When someone gives you a backhanded compliment, I want to throat punch them. Like if you were to wear a shirt that I hadn't seen you wear in a while, and I'm like, wow, Ashley, I really like that shirt. I'm so glad you can fit in it again. Like,
Oh,
excuse me? Like, I come undone on people when they talk to people like that. I'm like, did I hear correctly? Because what just happened? And it's always
because
somebody's friend.
unless I come out of my bedroom in a pair of jeans, like, I'm so glad I fit in these jeans. Like, I've been working, they zipped up, it wasn't uncomfortable. I am so happy. Don't need it. I don't need it. You can say,
Right.
love the shirt.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all, but that's what makes it worse is it's always someone, I don't want to say always, but I feel like it's typically someone who you would consider a friend and they make offhanded slights like that and you're like, that is so rude. Like, why? Why? You could have stopped at, I really like that shirt. Like, you didn't have
Like,
to.
that talking about weight is something that makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know how to talk to someone about their weight because I'm always scared it's
Yeah.
going to make them think that I saw them
Yes.
in a bad manner in some way. But, like, I didn't know how to say it whenever we were there last, but I thought you looked great. I could tell you had worked hard and felt better about yourself.
Oh,
But I didn't
thanks.
know how to tell you that because I never
Yes.
thought you looked bad. Like, I never
Yes.
thought anything was wrong personally, but I knew you thought that something was wrong. Or not really wrong, but you weren't happy. And I could
Yes.
tell you were happier, even from when we were just in Vegas, like, what, 8 months ago? 9 months ago?
Yeah.
Like, I could tell you felt better in your own skin. But I didn't know how to say that because I didn't want you to be like, well, when we were in Vegas, like, did she not think I looked good then? No, I did. I thought you looked great in Vegas. Like, I, I just see you looking better. Like,
Yes.
if that's the kind
Yeah,
of
because
thing I'm trying to say.
it's a confidence thing, not necessarily a visual thing with my body. Or I feel like that's how you're trying to describe it. Like, I am genuinely happier and more confident in myself after making changes. But yes, I know what you mean because
Yeah.
I feel that way too. Like, when I like people that I work with, that when we all did like the weight loss challenge at work and stuff, and like a lot of people lost a lot of weight, like, you want to compliment them, but then sometimes you're like, I don't want them to think that I thought badly of them before. Like,
Yes.
but yes. Yes.
I saw a reel the other day of this girl, and she was like, realizing that you lost all the weight just for body dysmorphia to still lie to you. And I was like, oh, snap. That sucks.
Yes.
And I know, I'm not saying like I have a like medical like problem, but I know that sometimes I look in the mirror, like, I can step on the scale and it say a number, and I look in the mirror and I'm happy. I can step on the scale, see the same number, and look in the mirror and unhappy. And it's the same body.
Yes.
And so I'm like, okay, sometimes I'm just not happy with myself, I guess. That's just, I think
Yes.
that's everybody, but I try to give myself grace because I have not pushed out 2 kids. What am I even saying? I have had 2 kids removed from my body.
Yeah.
I tried to push one of them out, to be fair. But I had 2 kids removed from my body, and they are happy, healthy children, and they were happy and healthy when they were in there. So if my body changed after that, it just did. I'm also 30 years old. Like, things don't work how they used to.
Yeah.
And at the end of the
Okay.
day, even though I am unhappy, I don't, the free time that I do have, I don't want to spend it exercising.
That's
Like,
fair.
that's just where it's at. Like, okay. Is it my go or your go?
I think it's your turn.
This is my last one. I don't want to get worked up over something stupid and then I'm about to.
Well, I have 2, so I can bring you back down after that.
The word blouse. Hate the word blouse. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't like the word. And then I got more into reading as I got older. And I'm reading stuff with an age range of like college age to like 40s. Nobody calls a shirt a blouse anymore. They don't. I think that stopped with my grandmother. Nobody calls it a blouse. So I don't understand why authors that are literally are I really want to talk to someone who writes books and be like, why are you calling it a blouse? It's a shirt. And your 21-year-old main dude in the book isn't going to refer to it as a blouse. I could probably go outside to Brandon and be like, what's a blouse? And it would take him a good few minutes for it to click what that word means. And he's almost 30. We don't use the word. So stop putting people in books calling word blouse. Another one off of that is whenever they're like, it's like a college kid and they're starting to like change clothes and it's a girl and she is like unbuttoning buttons. How often do you wear a shirt with buttons? Don't get me wrong.
If
I wear
if
flannels, but they're never buttoned.
I was gonna say flannels are the only shirt coming to mind that I own like that.
We don't go outdoors in buttoned up shirts and khaki pants or skirts. We don't dress like that because we just don't. This isn't Peaky Blinders. Stop. No, stop saying that. She took off her t-shirt and her skinny jeans or her straight leg jeans. That's how people dress these days, and from the age of like teenage to like freaking 35. Stop. Stop describing clothes that way. I'm not behind it. I want to become a beta reader or an editor or whatever, so I can be like, take this word out. I don't align with it. It doesn't align with my beliefs. Get rid of it. Not here for it.
It doesn't align with my beliefs. That is a bold stance to take on the word blouse. But anyway. Oh my
Now you know how
gosh.
serious I take that word. And for the
I
record, I'm
do.
saying this for Brandon in case anyone else wonders. I do have stuff written in this notebook. The other day, Brandon was like, do you actually have stuff written on that notebook or do you just have it in your lap to look smart? How does having a notebook on my lap make me look smart? It's notes. I have notes because I have ADHD and I forget, okay? That's all there is to it. And then when you see me close it, it's because I'm out of my notes. I'm done. It's not for looks.
Ooh. All right. I
You
have
may
2 more.
proceed. Hit me with them.
People who interrupt mid-conversation to ask what you're talking about. What I mean by this is like me and you conversing and someone being over here like, hey, what are you guys talking about? Wait, what? What are the detail? What are you talking about? What? Hey, Kayla. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Kayla. I'm like, do you have a death wish? Because I will. Ugh. Violence ensues. Like at that moment, I'm like, I didn't wake up and choose violence, but today it chose me. So remove yourself from the immediate area. Because small children do that. But that's because small children are just that. They're children. They have lesser amounts of years where they have been able to figure out the social construct of something. When
Mm-hmm.
I am speaking to an adult and another adult asks me something, or like when they ask a question and then they're like, Kayla, hey Kayla, did you hear me? Hey Kayla, Am I speaking? Give me just a second. When I finish with what this is, I'll answer you. But do not do that. Makes me freaking nuts. Makes me so ragey.
I don't do that. I don't think I do that. I think I sometimes do that. Like if I walk up and I can tell there's like an issue or a problem, I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? Like trying to help solve,
Yes.
but it's not like just like a conversing, like they're just talking about something random or a story or whatever. I don't come in and expect them to start all over.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Not when like it looks like people are frustrated or having a problem and you're trying to solve the problem. Like that's a different situation. Um but yeah, people who just like again, entitled, think they're that special that I should just stop everything that I'm doing and answer them or include them in the conversation. Like, just wait a minute and then, we can proceed. And then my last one is people who gatekeep things. Like, and honestly, I'm just going to be very candid about this. Sometimes this is like one of those things that keeps me awake at night. Sometimes when someone compliments, like, oh, I really like your top, I immediately tell someone, oh, thank you, it's from Aerie. Like, and then sometimes I'm like, they didn't ask that. Like, maybe they did want to know. That's the thing that keeps me awake at night. I'm like, did I overshare? Did I tell them too much? Because, like, I just, like, if you tell me you like something, it doesn't mean you want it. But I always offer the information because I'm like, I feel weird when I compliment someone and I'm like, I really like your skirt. And they're like, thank you. And then I'm like, now do I, again, this keeps me awake at night. I'm like, do I have to be like, where did you get it? Like, because
Or
that
act like
gets,
a crazy person and stalk a woman across the store to ask her where her bag is from.
listen, I stand by what I did, okay? And she was proud to tell me where she got that bag.
She
So
was great. But I can't do
she
that
was like,
because
oh my God. Like, she
sometimes
was so
girls are
happy.
like Lululemon. Like, and they make you feel stupid. And that's why I don't like to talk to
Yes.
anybody. That's why when we go in a store and I want to know something, you have to ask for me, because people, like, when they talk to you like you're dumb or inconvenient for asking, I hate that feeling. And I just
Yes.
don't put myself in the situation to feel that way, because people
Yes.
do not mind making you feel like that. And that's 3/4 of the world's problem.
Yes. Which is why I just candidly offer the information most of the time, because I'm like, I
That's
don't want
fair.
this to be weird. So I'm just like, oh, thanks, I got it at Ross. Like,
Yeah.
but yes. I
Yeah.
am not one to gatekeep. If you ever want to know where something's from, if you want to know if I have a coupon, because I probably do, I am here for it. Like, all the details
Yeah,
all the
that's fair.
time.
Linked in my bio. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, we will wrap it up. But let us know in the comments what your icks are, or if any of the ones we talked about enrage you as much as they do us.
And we'll put up a poll. I'll put up a poll
Yes.
the day we drop this episode on the mascara thing. Or you can put up a
Oh,
poll and
yes.
just
Yes. I can put
just
one
taking
on
it upon myself.
Spotify too, I think. Okay. Yeah, we'd love your opinions, comments, questions, anything.
Like, follow on our Instagram page. Give us a good rating on wherever you're listening to this, and subscribe and whatnot. And come back next week because we're going to be talking about traveling.
Yes.
Me and Kayla love to travel, and we have traveled. We have seen this country, baby. Gotta stop
And
whacking
we're
this.
trying to see more of it. So.
Yeah. I told Brandon yesterday, I was like, I don't know where we'd even go anymore. Like, there's, like, we've kind of, I don't want to say we've done everything, but I think, like, California and, like Seattle, maybe. Like, I don't have the list in the country of, like, big places I want to say. Like, now it's kind of like, let's go to
Yeah.
Connecticut and be a Gilmore Girl. Like, it's kind of more like that. But we've really done what we wanted to do in life, buddy.
Yeah. Other than going abroad, because we still want to do that more. But
yes, don't get me started on that, because that's like all my I don't know if you've noticed that with all the stuff I've been sending you, but you spoke of travel and it appeared on my Instagram reels. Like, I need to go somewhere.
yeah.
Good heavens.
Okay. Well, we will catch you guys in the next episode, and
Yes.
can't wait to hear from you. I will talk to you later. Love and miss you.
Okie dokie. I love and miss you more.
Bye.
Bye.